Your lack of belief in a God will send you to hell. That's something I've heard a few times, and although I haven't seen any reason to believe that there could be a hell, I started to wonder. So I searched, is hell real? I found several videos that said, of course hell is real, but they all lasted quite a while. If hell is that easily demonstrated, surely you could do so in under 5 minutes. Then I found this video. Hello, I'm the Skeptic. I watch videos on YouTube that make extraordinary claims, whether that's flat earth or strange conspiracies, but mostly the claim that a God is real and then explain why I can't accept their position. Before we get into today's video, please do subscribe, hit that bell notification to be alerted for my next video, and drop a like. That would be brilliant. In this atheist response video, in 5 minutes, a YouTuber with almost 2,000 subscribers can prove hell is real in, well, 5 minutes. Finally, being fearful of something that hasn't been demonstrated can be over by the end of this video. Then, if hell is demonstrated, I can work out how not to end up there. The original video is actually only 4 minutes and 56 seconds. Even better.
When you think of the word hell, what comes to mind?
The morning school run, running out of chocolate in the house, having to walk the dog in the rain. Am I close?
A little red man with horns and a pitchfork?
No. Isn't that what folks use to represent a devil?
Maybe you think of fire. Don't try that at home, folks. I am a professional.
Can you be a professional blowtorch aerosol flamethrower? I didn't even know that was a thing. I'll search how to do that later.
Maybe you think of something more appealing, yet still awful, like an episode of The Good Place.
This is The Bad Place.
Oh, I've never watched that. Maybe I should. Oh, by the way, you've used up 22 seconds of your 4 minutes and 56.
The idea of hell is controversial at best, and for many, it's downright unbelievable. A recent study which looked at belief in hell by generation showed that of millennials surveyed, only 14% actually believe in hell. Generation Xers came in at 28%, and baby boomers were at 32%.
It would be interesting to know why the older people were on the list, the more they believe that hell is real. Could that be to do with the research resources available? Generational teaching? It would be fun to actually know the answer to that. Also, how reliable can that research be without knowing the sources? If you ask 100 people at a university compared to at a church gathering, do you think the outcome would be much different?
It seems that people across the board were willing to believe in heaven as a place we go after death, but simply can't get behind the idea of hell. The reason for this is that people can't understand how a good God could send his children into eternal damnation, into hell.
Wait, do we have to have the position that there is a God first? I thought this was proving hell. Can people who don't believe in a God believe in a hell? This just opens up a whole other can of very warm worms. Warm because of the hellfire.
But what if I told you that hell was never created for humankind? That's what we're going to explore today in 5 minutes.
How could anyone possibly know that if hell was real, it wasn't created for humans? Well, I guess we're about to find out. I can barely contain my excitement.
Let's get started. The truth is, hell is a very real place. But God never intended for humankind to live there.
Just saying hell is a very real place doesn't make it so. Maybe the video should be called Why Hell Was Never Created for Humans. At least then you can go in and say, okay, hypothetically, let's say hell is real. Why don't humans go there? And then present your case. Whether or not humans could or couldn't go to a place doesn't demonstrate the truth of its existence.
In Matthew 25:41, Jesus is talking to his disciples about what will happen on Judgment Day.
Oh, proving something with something that makes a claim also doesn't make it exist. But sure, what did Matt say?
He says, and to those on his left, the king will say, "Leave me, for you are under a curse of eternal fire that has been destined for the devil and all of his demons."
You, we're over here, the camera's this way. And how does that demonstrate a hell? The king could have just meant that he was annoyed and didn't want those folks on the left to be there. Like a, get out of my sight. Or, if the king did mean an eternal fire, how does that equal hell? He may have meant Mount Doom, or any other volcano, fictional or otherwise, which may not be an eternal fire in that sense, but just somewhere very hot. In fact, how do we even know that actually happened?
Hell was created for the devil and his demons.
Does destined automatically mean created now? Because Because I saw destined. Where in that verse does it say created?
Hell was not created for humankind.
Again, just saying it doesn't make it true. You have to demonstrate it.
It was always God's plan for us to join Him in heaven.
According to the magical timer that appeared when the main part of the video started, we're 31 seconds in, and we're just hearing claims. This was supposed to be proving hell was real.
We have access to the kingdom of heaven the moment we put our faith in Christ.
But doesn't it matter whether or not it's true? Following this logic, it's okay to say you have access to unicorn blood if you put your faith in unicorns, or you have access to one day having the ability to turn into a bat if you put your faith in vampires.
When we choose to put our faith in Jesus, we have instant access to the kingdom of heaven.
Demonstrate that. How could you possibly confirm that to be true?
And when we die, we then go to the center of His presence. It's the place of eternal and infinite blessing.
I feel like I'm just going to be saying demonstrate that for the rest of the video. I'll really try not to, though.
Hell, in contrast, is an eternal place of unquenchable fire. It is the place where those who have not put their faith in Christ have instead chosen to go to.
Wait a minute, didn't you just say earlier that hell wasn't created for humans, but yet they would go there for not using faith and reaching the same conclusion you did? If hell isn't for humans, surely it wouldn't matter if folks did or didn't use faith.
Hell is the most awful place imaginable.
Damn it. No, I won't do it. And I can imagine things way worse than fiery devil pits, so...
It's a place devoid of the tangible presence of God.
Tangible? Is there tangible presence of a god or gods on earth? I'm not convinced there is. Would that make Earth hell? But hell is supposed to be the worst things you can imagine. My imagination must be broken because I have a wife, a family, a Christmas tree in the corner, and that looks pretty darn good in my opinion. If this actually was hell, then I'm happy where I am. Hell seems pretty decent.
Is it getting hot in here? I mean, what, really, guys? Flames? Really? Come on. Can we turn the AC back on, please? I think they get the idea. See, a long time ago, Lucifer and his cast of demons had a rebellion in heaven.
That would be an epic movie.
God cast them down to the earth and created hell as their eternal destination at the end of time.
So this is hell minus the fire and the devil. This makes absolutely zero sense.
God always intended for us to live forever with Him in the kingdom of heaven.
An eternity of telling women they're not worthy, owning people, killing children. Sure, sounds like a great time. Not.
To do that, all we have to do is to put our faith in Jesus and choose to follow Him.
Are we going to get to the bit where hell is proved anytime soon?
God created us to be eternal beings who live in relationship with Him forever.
Oh my word. Seriously, you've used 1 minute and 34 seconds to not get to the point. Instead, it's just claim.
God never wanted the separation, so He made a way through Jesus for us to eliminate it and to give us a pathway into life forever with Him.
I'm sorry, what now? Did anyone else hear word vomit then? That couldn't have just been me, right?
You're either headed for heaven or headed for hell.
Although hell isn't for humans, remember? So even if you're headed for hell, you're not really headed for hell because hell can't accept you.
And you get to choose. You have the power.
Do what's right, and you can't go wrong.
This message is now approved by Mr. T, apparently. Also, does believing in something just make hell exist?
You are an eternal being created by God.
Claim.
You will last forever. From the moment you were conceived, you never cease to exist.
So if something is eternal, it would always have existed, right? So that doesn't make sense.
That means that when you take your last breath here on this earth, your next breath is in eternity.
I think what you meant to say is what I think but don't know because I haven't demonstrated it to be the case. You know, because that would be more honest than the bold assertions you keep claiming to be the case.
Either in heaven or in hell. And eternity means forever.
Sure, if something isn't eternal, how do you know it can go on for the rest of time? Eternal by definition means with no beginning or end. Since conception is a start point, then that, by definition, would make humans non-eternal.
A popular misconception about the afterlife is something called annihilation. This is the idea that at the end of your life, you cease to exist. This is simply not true.
Is this guy God? Is that how he knows? Just saying things doesn't make it the truth.
We don't just disappear. When we don't believe in hell, it becomes easy to negate both our responsibility in choosing Jesus, as well as our responsibility to help other people find Him as well.
I'll start finding Jesus after I finish this Where's Waldo book. I can't find the scroll on page 21.
The stakes could not be higher and the decisions more important. Knowing that hell is real inspires us to first make a decision for ourselves to pursue Jesus.
There's absolutely a difference in knowing and believing. Not once have you shown any reason that you know hell is real. You've just said it does about 18 times. I actually didn't count. I plucked that number out of the air. Very honest of me, right? Something you could try one time, Mr. 5 Minutes.
But secondly, to help other people find that same truth. We don't do this by screaming out hellfire and damnation from the street corners. That's not the way to get it done. What we want to do is let others know in love and kindness that God has made a way for them to live in the kingdom of heaven, both right here and right now, and also when we pass, when we die. The bottom line is this: heaven and hell are very real.
19 times, and you've used 3 minutes and 8 seconds of your time. Come on, sir.
God never wanted you to go to hell because he wanted you to put your faith in Jesus so that you can go to heaven and live with him forever.
But if God knows everything that is, was, and will be, it would know that I wouldn't be convinced that it existed, and would then know that I was going to go to this hell you speak of. If it knew that I wouldn't be convinced of its existence, wouldn't it know how to convince me so that I wouldn't end up going to a hell like it apparently wants, given that it's so loving? It's just a huge mess of contradictions.
Now let's go and get the word out and let other people know about the love of God.
That's it. The whole 5 minutes wasn't used and we didn't even get any proof of a hell. What the hell? Pun intended. Are you convinced just by him saying that hell is real? If we say things enough, does that just make them true? Let me know in the section below. I'm not convinced, so I'll skeptic this off as not demonstrating hell just yet. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. From me, the Skeptic, stay safe, keep thinking logically, and ask questions. Skepticism is the first step towards truth. See you next Saturday.